Hey, what's going on, guys? This training is about how to pick a venue for your event. Let's dive right on into it. So, first things first is understand that there's a difference between exclusive events and then a non exclusive event. So, an exclusive event means private space exclusive to your group or community. So, you're going to usually need 30 to 50 attendees at your event to make going for this even worth it, which means that you need to have at least like 60 to 100 individuals inside of your inner circle community, because usually we can get about half the amount of people that are in the inner circle community to RSVP or register for your set event. So any less than that, and it's not really worthy, that's the first thing to understand and keep in mind. A lot of guys don't have the ambition to make events this complicated or this big. So anything, less than 60 in your inner circle group means you're going to host a non-exclusive event. So what a non-exclusive event is going to look like, it's just as simple as getting people to kind of casually meet up somewhere, right? It could be at a bar or a lounge, and it could be everybody's meeting in the back, or everybody's meeting at the bar, or everybody's meeting in this, specific area. So just remember, there's exclusive events and then there's non-exclusive events. I'd say most people probably start off on at first with a non-exclusive event because it's simpler and easier, better for beginners. But for guys that are a little more, maybe more experienced or more ambitious, you can definitely host a private exclusive event on your first round. We even had guys make money and monetize their first event. So here's the criteria that you use when you pick a venue, like when you're searching for venues. So the first and most important thing is make sure that you're looking at the most popular side of town for nightlife and for social networking. That's probably the biggest key, is an area of your city that's going to have the most status by association in terms of general vicinity. Never taking people away from the beaten path, never having people go even to the most popular venue at the least most popular side of town isn't going to be as good as doing the most least popular venue in the most popular side of town. So that's the first thing, is you want to pick a venue in the most popular side of town. Next thing is going to be looking at the most popular venues that fit this criteria in the most popular side of town. So look at rooftops first, cocktail bars second, and then speakeasies third. Now, avoid nightclubs that are really like loud and crazy, and then also avoid dive bars that are cheap and kind of low class. We're looking for something a little bit in the middle there. So that's usually going to be these, cocktail bar, rooftop, speakeasy type places. A lot of the times they're attached to hotels, things like that are upscale. Now, if you don't know the most trendy, popular side of town, just use ChatGPT. If you don't know the most popular rooftops, cocktail bars, or speakeasies in the most popular side of town, just use ChatGPT. That's enough to get you started and generate a list. ChatGPT will give you the names, give you the websites, give you the email addresses, all of that good stuff. So what you're going to basically do is, ask these venues, once you have your list, ask these venues what their minimum spend for an exclusive event on a Saturday night is going to be. So I recommend to use my scripts, and then also I recommend go in person to do this. You can send out emails, you can do phone calls. The scripts for how we approach these venues is in the vault inside the Discord, but basically you introduce yourself as a community host, you introduce yourself as an event planner, you give them a little bit of details about what it's about and how many people, so on and so forth, and then you're just asking them, like, for exclusive space, what's the minimum spend is the question that you want to ask. Okay. And so then the next thing is, in these conversations, avoid venues that require a deposit. Okay. And if these venues are requiring a deposit, request a higher spend in lieu of a deposit, or request they paid for, a paid for step and repeat banner in lieu of deposit, or I guess in exchange for a deposit. So there's some negotiating that we can do there. That's kind of like some subtle nuances. But if they're asking for a deposit and a minimum spend, I'll usually never take that offer like just at face value without trying to negotiate some better, more favorable terms. Now, a lot of the time, the most popular venues in the most popular side of town will not budge on this. So if that's the case, move on to a less popular venue that will not require a deposit. So, like I said, the least popular venue in the most popular side of town is still going to be better than like the most popular venue in the least popular side of town. So, as long as you're in the most popular side of town, you're going to be good. Okay, so the next thing to understand is you're going to chop this concept to multiple venues, meaning you want to find this kind of Goldilocks zone between popularity and then minimum spend requirement. So depending on how bad you want the venue, you might be able, you might be willing to reach a little bit deeper on the minimum spend requirement. So that's kind of like up to you. Just depends on how these conversations go. And then again, if you go through this process and it seems like you're hitting a wall, it seems like, oh, this is impossible. I can't get a venue like every other guy that's ever gone through this program, then just revert back to hosting a non exclusive event or a meetup, just say your favorite venue. Because the reality is, if you get in there at 7 p.m. before the crowd hits and you go grab some space and you have a bunch of people meet up with you, like that's going to be a lot of the times just as effective as hosting an exclusive event. Really, the only benefit to hosting an exclusive event is that you can, charge tickets for it and monetize it. You can get things like step and repeat banners for photography and the content turns out better. But from just like a purely social networking and dating perspective, having these just casual meetup style non-exclusive events is just fine. You don't even need to really contact any of these venues if you're going to go that route. So there's a training. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Hit me up with your questions. See you in the Discord. Peace.